welcome everybody to Canadian Yorker, and I am doing another soccer video, and this soccer video will be about the United States Women's National Soccer Team, who currently is playing in the SheBelieves Cup in soccer. They're playing in the Glendale, Arizona, in the SheBelieves Cup soccer tournament that's going on currently in Arizona right now. The first game, I happen to see the first game kicked off between Colombia and the United States, and in that game, the United States won that game. We're going to be talking about, I believe this is just, it's like another game the United States played, and in this game the United States played against the country of Australia, and the United States won that game against Australia in a game. I think the score was 2-0. So the United States has been on a roll, definitely been on a roll, 2-0 undefeated currently in the SheBelieves Cup, and we'll have to see how far the United States goes as the tournament progresses. The United States competition is definitely going to get more stiffer because they are going to be facing more and more challenging teams. But I'm not only talking about the United States Women's National Soccer Team in this regard, but I'm also talking about a specific player who happened to join the United States just recently, and that player is none other than a high school graduate just joined at 19 years old, none other than Claire Hutton. So this article is from WNYT.com, and so going into the article, this was written February 24th, 2025. It says here, Bethlehem high school grad makes national soccer team debut. So it says here, there are huge honors for a Bethlehem high school graduate who is now competing on the international stage. At just 19 years old, Claire Hutton made her first career start for the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team on this past Sunday. She was part of the youngest starting 11 for a U.S. team since 2001. Claire Hutton plays professionally in the National Women's Soccer League. The United States squared off against Australia Sunday in Glendale, Arizona, in the SheBelieves Cup and an international women's soccer tournament. The USA took home the win 2-1. The team will travel to San Diego to take on Japan for the final game of the tournament on Wednesday night. So the United States will be playing Japan Wednesday night in San Diego this week. I believe that's going to be in tomorrow. So there's another article talking about Claire Hutton here, and I'm just going to give you guys some information here about. So she just recently joined the team. She just made the team, and this article is written from TimesUnion.com. Bethlehem graduate Claire Hutton is ready for the international stage. This article was written on February 20th, 2025. It says here, Claire Hutton cried terrible tears for days after she didn't make the U.S. soccer team for the FIFA U17 Women's World Cup back in 2022. It's a rite of passage for athletes to get cut from teams, but the experience was a new one for Hutton, who was used to getting her way when it came to soccer. That's the sport she decided was for her at 4 years old, back when her brother Ray, older by 18 months, decided to play soccer, and she demanded her parents buy her cleats and shin guards too. Jennifer Hutton said, Claire's mother said, she wore them every day to practice. Who helped coach that youth team? She thought she was on that team. She wasn't. This time, though, there was no mistaking anything. Claire Hutton had started with 6 goals in the spring 2022 CONCACAF Women's U17 Championship, but was left off the roster for the World Fall Tournament in India. Hutton said, quote, That was honestly one of the most make or break experiences in my career. And I think, honestly, that has been one of my biggest fuels for why I got to where I am today. Continuing the article, it says, right now, Claire Hutton is in Houston. That's where the 19-year-old who graduated from Bethlehem High School will be in uniform for the first time for the United States women's national team. This plays 8 p.m. Thursday at Shell Energy Stadium against Colombia in the SheBelieves Cup. Hutton learned that earlier this month she had been selected for the 23-deep roster that includes 3 other teenagers, as the Capital Region soccer prodigy realized one of his dreams in making her country's senior national team. Hutton said, quote, "When I first heard of what the women's national team was as a kid, that was my ultimate goal." She said in a recent interview with the Times Union, "I'm someone who, I have to say, an addictive personality. When I start something and I love it, I will push myself to be the best. So with soccer, that's how it was. I started playing, I actually loved it. So what did I do? I told myself I'm going to be the best." In approximately 15 years since getting those first blue cleats, I still have them, so cute. Claire Hutton has been relentless in her pursuit of that aim, a path that led her to become a professional this past year with the Kansas City Current of the National Women's Soccer League. Hutton's journey to becoming a U.S. Women's National Soccer star player began in earnest at age 9 when she was linked up with the Alley Cats Soccer Club, an Albany-based organization that is one of the region's top soccer programs. Betsy Drombour coaches with the Alley Cats and serves as their technical director. She is also one of the best soccer players in the Capital Region has ever produced. Drombour was an All-American in the early 1980s at Shenandoah High School, repeated that individual honor in the process of helping to lead George Mason University in the 1985 National Championship, and made 7 appearances for the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team before the decade was through. And when Hutton joined the Alley Cats, Drombour immediately moved the youngster up to play with kids a couple of years older than her. That's just not really heard of at that age, and she wasn't that big either. She was a peanut, Drombour said. It was crazy, but obviously she was one of our strongest players in that group. Nowadays, Hutton dazzles with her incredible footwork and touch. U.S. Women's National legend Tobin Heath heaped up praise upon Hutton several months ago for the praise she possesses on the soccer level, describing her as an obsessed with the 5'6" defensive midfielder's game. Before Hutton developed all that technical skill, though, she was primarily stood out because of the enthusiasm and motor she brought with her to the soccer field. Drombour said, quote, "She was just very athletic, fearless, and covered a ton of ground." She also said, "We used to call her Chicken Head because she would just run around like crazy." It wasn't too long before Hutton's game reached a level where playing against older kids with the Alley Cats wasn't enough to further her development on its own. She started to train more in specialized individual sessions with the Alley Cats boys teams, and the organization also helped connect her to play with the Class FC of the Elite Club's National League. Around that same time, Hutton hit Section 2's high school soccer scene as a 7th grader. Immediately, she starred and helped Bethlehem to get an appearance in the 2018 state championship. The next year, Hutton was named the state's top player as an 8th grader. Very impressive. Quote, Bethlehem coach Tom Rogan said during the 2018 season, "She is something different. Everybody that comes to see her play has the same reaction, that she is truly something different." What I tell everyone is, you can watch her play and enjoy that, but come to a practice and watch her work. That is where you see the results. Her work rate is higher than anyone we've had. Hutton's high school girls soccer largely consisted of those 2 seasons as a middle schooler. A combination of restrictions related to the novel coronavirus pandemic and time spent starting her U.S. soccer career mostly kept her off Section 2 fields in 2020 and 2021, and she played with her school boys teams in 2022 before graduating a year early from Bethlehem. Hutton first played internationally at the 2022 CONCACAF Women's U17 Championship. She started during that tournament in the Dominican Republic, then experienced the heartbreak months later of not being selected to the team heading to the FIFA U17 Women's World Cup. She literally deserved to be there without a doubt, Drombo said. But at the same time, at some stages of your career is political, especially at that younger age. A lot of it is political, and it has been forever. That didn't offer much solace to Hutton. She never had really much disappointments up until that point, Drombo said. She was needlessly to say devastated. It broke me, Hutton said. I hurt so bad from that. But she knew how to react. She came back stronger, as Drombo said. Key to making that possible was Hutton's support system. While she became even more determined in her soccer training, helping her build her back up with her mom Jennifer and dad Brett, salt of the earth, Drombo said of Hutton's parents and brothers Ray and Scott, as well as a collection of close friends and Alley Cats coaches such as Drombo and Skip Dawson. Hutton said, quote, I wouldn't be here without all of them, just because of how much they support me through the good and the bad. I'm so grateful for them. Family is really everything, because they're the ones who have your back through it all. And the last couple of years have been a whirlwind for Hutton. She rebounded from that 2022 disappointment to captain the country's U19 team that played in the 2023 Pan American Games, then made the decision to skip playing college soccer at North Carolina in favor of joining the current. This past year, she was both a finalist for the National Women's Soccer League Rookie of the Year and the U.S. Soccer Young Female Player of the Year after helping Kansas City to the U.S. National Women's Soccer League semifinals and the country to a bronze medal at the FIFA U20 Women's World Cup. In a continuing, Hutton said, it's scary in a way, but I mean, I couldn't be any more proud of her. But it's a lot of weight on her shoulders at the same time. That's what her mom Jennifer said, said of her watching her daughter's soccer travels over the past few years. It's a lot, but she's such a mature, even-keeled, smart kid. I guess she's not a kid anymore. But she always uses her resources, and she's got a lot of people who are supporting her, guiding her to keep her achieving her goals. We as her family are supporting her, and we're always saying we're here. But she just keeps taking each of these steps, and it's amazing. Earlier this year, Hutton participated in a futures camp that ran concurrently to the U.S. Women's National Team's training camp. Soon after that camp was when the U.S. National Women's Team coach, Emma Hayes, who guided the United States to a gold medal at this past year's Paris Olympics, picked Hutton to play in the SheBelieves Cup, an invitational tournament that will also see the U.S. team play against Australia on February 23rd in Arizona and against Japan on February 26th in San Diego. Hutton was with the current teammates, including fellow U.S. Women's National Team selection Michelle Cooper, when she found out. It was surreal, chills. I started watching, Hutton said. All my teammates came over, hugged us, and then I said, I was like, I need to call my parents. Hutton said she struggled to get the words out to her mom and dad, RPI graduates who work, respectively, as a podiatrist and a patent attorney. I was crying happy tears, Hutton said. In the weeks that followed, Hutton has had time to collect herself. The type of news was different this time around, but his reaction was similar now to what it was in 2022 when she didn't make the team she wanted. She was ready to work even harder. The next FIFA Women's World Cup is set for 2027 in Brazil, and the 2028 Summer Olympics are in Los Angeles, and Hutton could take major strides this month toward finding a way onto those rosters, and U.S. teams well beyond that. Hutton said, I don't want this to be one and done type of thing. I want to get there, and I want to be invited back. That's the biggest thing for me when I go is that I don't want this just to be a one-time thing. I want to be women's national team player for years to come. So interesting, we've learned about Claire Hutton here, and we've learned about her, and she's quite an amazing player. She's definitely made her mark, and has done an amazing, doing big and amazing things out there for the Capital Region, and also making her shot on the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team. So she's doing amazing. There's the last article here. It's written on February 12th, 2025, just 13 days ago. Just reading up on this. Claire, Beth. So, in this, so the article says, it's written on news10.com, says Bethlehem grad Claire Hutton makes U.S. Women's National Soccer Team. Playing for your national team at the highest level is an honor only a few get to experience. Bethlehem graduate Claire Hutton is set to become one of the few. Hutton has been named to the U.S. Women's National Team for the 2025 SheBelieves Cup. It's the first call-up to the senior team for the 19-year-old who currently plays for the Kansas City Currents in the National Women's Soccer League. Hutton previously played for the USWNT national team in 2022, captained the U19 team at the 2023 Pan American Games, and started 5 games for the U.S. at the U20 World Cup last summer. It's all led to the opportunity of a lifetime. I'm so excited, said Hutton. It's been my dream since I was little, having this opportunity and playing with some of the players that are hanging on my bedroom wall back at home in New York. It's just surreal. I'm just processing this. It's something I've always dreamed of, and I'm working towards it. So it's one of the things that you say, one day it's going to happen. If I keep working hard and I keep following my dreams, it'll happen. When I finally saw the email that it was happening, it was kind of like I need to be pinched right now. My dreams are now becoming a reality. And the United States has already played in February 26th that just passed. The United States played against Colombia and, by the way, won. So we have already covered that. So guys, so there's an article about a rising star, Claire Hutton, a graduate from Bethlehem High School, and now plays for the Kansas City Current in the and now is playing in the SheBelieves Cup in Glendale, Arizona, and now is on the United States Women's National Team, currently playing for the United States, and is in the tournament right now. So, guys, will we see Claire Hutton make her appearance at the World Cup in 2027 and the Summer Olympics in 2028? It's going to be kind of interesting to see if she's going to be selected going forward, going into the World Cup and going into the Summer Olympics, in 2027 and 2028. I'm quite curious to know if the current coach of the United States Women's National Team is going to call her up to get her into, and select her to join the United States soccer team, because it's going to be really, there's a lot of players that are trying to get in, that want to play to the United States. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen going forward. But I saw this article, and I thought this was really interesting, that there's a current local player, someone from the local area, that is going to be going into, that I was already playing in the National Women's Soccer League, and is also already playing on the U.S. Women's National Team. So just wanted to bring you guys this information and share it with you. So let me know what you think in the comments section below. See you guys in the next